If you could get in a reoccurring theme and have then your money work for you while you sleep, you're in a position to really enjoy the beauty of life. When you sell advertising at the Northern Star newspaper in college because you're trying to fund your college because you're on your own, you're in survival mode. You go into a fraternity, not by choice, talked about it, kicked out, fighting. Fight that should have happened with the RAs when we were playing football. So they disbanded our suite and went to the fraternity and met quite a few great people, as I've said. The introduction to ADP when I graduated, which is paid one time on sales. I had an introduction to the Northern Star newspaper from the fraternity where I got paid on reoccurring advertising. So every time I went to a bar, restaurant, wherever I went, I would ask for the owner, and I would actually, if I got the ads that they ran in the Northern Star newspaper, however often they ran, I got paid. So it was the highest paying job in college that I got introduced to, and I realized the reason why it was the highest paying job without working overly hard is I got paid residually, reoccurring whenever they ran an ad. My first job was paid one time, ADP. Hunt, kill, paid, go, hunt more, hunt more, hunt more. Kind of wears you out. If you could get in a position, ultimately, I figured out through my 13 years at ADP, I was 34 years old. I'm like, I'm going to be an old sales guy here at some point. To keep hunting, and it's exhausting. All the no's you have to go through and everything else, no matter how, tunnel vision you are, and you get the nose bouncing off, you do get burnout moments. Older you get, kids, family, it could be a big burden mentally. So I figured out I want to be do a career where I could utilize relationships, likability, and what I think is an advantage that I have with everything that I'm sharing, to where people continually buy from you, and that's the insurance industry. It's one of those very few, and part of the division I was running for ADP at the time had insurance elements, and I was referring to a guy that I met on our honeymoon back in '98. I asked the guy for a newspaper on the plane, and he happened to be at an insurance agency, and we hit it off, and I would fish him leads from stuff that my insurance division couldn't do with ADP, paid one time. And 3 years into the relationship, he said, "Hey, Mr. C, did you ever think about doing insurance full time?" And I go, it was kind of like my wake-up call to remember that the recurring revenue from the advertising job I had in college, that's probably what I want moving forward as I get older. And I asked him to introduce me to the firm that he ended up going to, because his firm went under. Well-known firm called Near North went under, and he went to this company called Assurance, which was just evolving. And he said that this guy from the South Side, Italian Irish like I am, you hit it off, and met him, and we hit it off, and I started with this smaller company where everybody thought I was actually fired from ADP because I was a sales exec. And I told everybody I was selling insurance, and they had this weird look on their face, like, insurance, because it's got a kind of a car salesman type reputation, I guess. And I just knew all along, I'm like, well, it's reoccurring. Every 12 months there's a new policy. You keep the client, you keep getting paid. You're not going out hunting for new. And that's where I actually they called me an anomaly because my first year I didn't know what I was doing, but I had contacts. I had actually my first day at Assurance in the insurance industry, which was the name of that small evolving company, was my first day back at ADP. And I actually went to my network at ADP of people I hired and people that worked for me, and I knew there was a way to position insurance for them to get business on their side for the payroll and HR outsourcing. So I aligned with my former network, established an activity channel that was known as an anomaly because I just was basically getting leads. I didn't know what I was doing on the insurance side, but I got to know the enterprise, and I asked for help. I identified mentors. I split deals with people. Activity is 100% of the game when you're in sales. If you aren't on appointments, if you're not working on accounts, you're not going to get anything. So I had the highest activity that they've ever seen. Number two in new business my first year, and I didn't really know what I was doing. But I found the right mentors, shared my activity success, and learned from the experts. And then I became a jack of all trades, master of none, but a master of activity. And that reoccurring theme led to a $3.4 million book and a lot of success over 18 years, and an acquisition where we got taken out 18 times EBITDA on April Fool's 2020 during the COVID pandemic. And when you achieve success with income, I think the game Monopoly comes to mind, and passive income comes into play, where anybody, you get like property, like from Monopoly, and people land on your Park Place, Boardwalk, Illinois Avenue. They pay you. So then your money works for you while you sleep. So as you get older, you have less stress, so you can enjoy the beauty of life, relationships, your kids, family, and friends, without having that constant stress of work, financial, and, health is the number one wealth in life, but we take that for granted. A lot of the focus is on financial. And as you get older, unless you own your own company, unless you're in a unique position, it's probably a bigger struggle, because your energy and everything else, your time, you don't have as much. You get pulled, so you're kind of winding down financially. Fortunately, in my case, I was ramping up in my 34 to 52 years old. My 18 years at Assurance, it was for a newspaper on a plane, and getting to know somebody was a life-changing moment. It goes back to that likability thing, and I had, I guess, the balls to ask him for a newspaper sitting across the aisle. But I think it all comes back to, if you could get in a reoccurring theme and have then your money work for you while you sleep, you're in a position to really enjoy the beauty of life with family and friends. And when it's all said and done, when you're at the end of your road, you could actually look back, which I want to do. I don't want to have any regret. That's the worst word in the dictionary. I've said it a couple times. I'm afraid of that word, because I think that's depression. That's what my mom had. And that fear keeps me looking forward and away from that, because that's a pull behind. And if you could have passive income working for you while you sleep, you could really enjoy the beauty of life while you're here. Hey guys, if any of this has made sense for you or made an impact, which is the ultimate purpose, hopefully this helps you have a better life and be fulfilled. That's the goal here today. Making an impact is probably one of the most rewarding things you could have once you get clarity in life. If you like what you heard, check out the video